Alright, good morning YouTube. It is Monday, June 12th, and I am figuring out this mic. Okay, hope you all had a good weekend. I had a pretty restless one, worked a little bit of overtime. If you don't know, I work as a physiotherapist at the hospital, so I worked a little overtime on Sunday. I also went out to a club on Saturday night to support a friend who's a DJ, so quite the ill-advised move, but it wasn't too bad. This is in the context of the fact that my girlfriend and I are usually in bed by 8 or 9 p.m. because I'm up at 5 a.m. So really trying to value sleep in this household. Anyways, let's get into some of the news for the week, just so we have a better understanding of what to expect or what might be driving the market, creating some market forces. The USD federal fund rates is coming out on Wednesday at 11. So that's definitely probably, I would say, our biggest mover, followed by some of the other USD news like core retail sales and maybe PPI. JPY monetary policy rate, I don't think they're expected to change. They haven't changed in a very long time, to say the least. However, as much as the expected value for the American federal funds is expected to stay the same at 5.25, we did note that Canada did unexpectedly increase theirs, as well as the Australian dollar. So you never know. Could be an opportunity for an unexpected increase, in which case you could create a straddle trade and play off that, but who knows? That's not my strategy. That's probably not what I'm going to do, but it's there. Alright, let's swap over to the charts and start our Monday morning analysis. As per usual, the only trade we are in is GBPCHF. Unfortunately, he started to move against us. We are down about 30 pips. Again, we're just sticking it out in the trade. We don't really manage positions like that, so we are just holding on. Let's start back at AUDCAD. There we go. Let's have some tea first. That's nice. That's very nice. It's so warm. Alright, so with reference to AUDCAD, we're definitely, as much as the overall trend of the market is quite bearish for the since February, we're in this nice little bullish ascending channel. What we need to do is identify levels that we could probably think price may bounce at, and so here's probably our biggest level there. Let's get rid of some of these other ones. And if price pulls back to about 0.898, I think that's worthwhile getting into a trade. It's already been tested as market structure levels multiple times. And I do believe, especially if price comes down a little lower around here, we have the break of this trend line working as support, this ascending trend line working as support. 898. Where would we put stops? Where are we targeting? I would say stops belong about right here. Let's go for an even 350, which makes us want to go for about 1750. 5 to 1. Do we expect 5 to 1? No, we go for 3 to 1. 10.050. There we go. So while the order isn't put, that's sort of the idea of what we would like to trade. Look at that. That alert. Again, this is just an idea. The reason we're not entering a trade for this or entering a limit order is just because of the sheer catastrophe that is news events over this following week, and how price can easily just swoop down and break into our stop loss before continuing back up. So the volatility is likely to be very high this week. So we have our setups, and we're priced to reach them outside of these news plays, then that is okay. Generally speaking, it's not a good idea to get triggered on a news play. Anywho, moving right along, AUDCHF. Not much here. Similar sort of bullish price action. Less pattern formation. We'll move right along. I'm not expecting much on the 5-minute there. AUDJPY. Interesting. We'll go to the 4-hour. Definitely overextended, quite bullish, waiting for some sort of pullback. Unfortunately, we don't necessarily have much trendline support if he does pull back to either of these levels. Maybe a pullback down here to 92.3 we could consider getting in. That's closer to the trend line, but that wouldn't be at the trend line until next week, 2 weeks from now. So, not ideal. If price does shoot up, we could look to get into a short for a reversal to the mean right around 96, I would say. Good psychological level. We have these previous points of resistance here, 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 and we're well above this trend line. Yeah, but that may be later in the week. So we'll just keep our, let's set it up. Where do we want our stops? Oh, big stops. Let's go 300 to 100. And that way that 100 clears the sort of area right here, even if it doesn't clear this guy. Excellent. AUDN. Some sideways price action on the 5-minute. Hourly is still quite bullish, but not much pattern formation that's worth investigating. AUDU, right. Similarly, very bullish price action as we enter this very strong level of resistance. We are just going to wait and see how this one plays. So, unfortunately, because price is trading in this very tight wedge here, there's not much of an opportunity for reversion to a mean. So we could be looking for a break and retest above these levels to continue higher. But that might happen later in the week, so we're just gonna wait for that. CADCHF. Similarly, not much pattern formation here. We're pretty bearish since June of last year. However, this is a pretty strong level of resistance, plus we do have this not great trend line coming down, so potential sells at 0.69 roughly, but I wouldn't say those would be a higher quality structure trade. Okay, CADJPY. Nice, continued levels higher. Again, if price pulls back, could be looking to get into the trade at about 103.5. But similar to last week, we were looking at a lot of the JPY pairs, so maybe we will find a different pair that would be better to trade. He is also, with that AUDJPY reversion to the mean trade here, if we can find some confluence on some of the yen pairs that they are also reaching some strong level of resistance, that could add to the confluence to take that trade. Of course, there's a little bit of motivated reasoning behind that. You know, are we looking for confluence that isn't there to justify our trade that we want to get into, or are we finding additional factors that actually validate the trade? That's not always an easy answering question. Not always an easy question and answer. Alright. Moving along, CHF. We're coming back to this level of structure just below the trend line. The problem with this guy is we obviously failed to make a greater high. So we are just monitoring. Again, I think there are better pairs to trade than CHF-JPY. CADJPY would be better to the long side. AUDJPY. I think GBPJPY even, but we'll get into that in a minute. But otherwise, not a whole lot happening here. And no, we're kind of lacking any clear levels that we can get any value into trying to buy a pullback in here. So we are going to move right along. EURAUD, big move down. We were kind of hoping price would come back at some point into this level, create another lower high before coming back down. As price is breaking out, we're just going to ignore this one. EURCAD, not too bad. Again, for us to get into this trade, we want price to break down below this level of support and then come back up for a retest and continue lower. Good morning, Luna. Good morning. My dog is up from her sleepy time. Alright, it's okay. I can just bring the mouse to the left hand side. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking for. We're looking for price to break that support before coming back up and retesting. EURCHF. Kind of trading in this bit of a channel here. We have this top end of the channel here at about 976. This lower end here down below, right around here, we have some multiple levels of support. Again, just like when price had come up here to 976 previously, I think we were investigating that for a short, for a sell, sorry, but part of the issue is price had failed to make a lower low. So we were worried that this was a higher low and price was just going to continue higher, so it wasn't worth the entry. And so we did not get in. Similarly, again, price has failed to make a lower low and is coming back up, so we are kind of just staying out of this trade. Market structure doesn't look too bad. We are still in this descending channel here. Price has respected this resistance. It's just that sort of failure to continue to make that lower low that sort of make me antsy about getting into that trade. EUROJPY. Again, there are other yen pairs that are probably better structure wise to trade. This guy's kind of meandering sideways here. Not a whole lot of value to trying to trade this guy. EUROG. Could see. Price did break out, has continued lower, has created a new low. Question is, where would be an ample opportunity to sell? Probably right around here. Possibly get into a sell at 858. It's not the best looking market structure. So we'll see if there's any other confluences, see if we can find any correlations between any other pairs as to why this might be a good opportunity. And if not, then we'll just stay out, because price could easily just break back up and come back up to this level. If we were to trade this, if we found some confluence, stops would probably need to be around here at about 350, and again targeting right here. Is that even a viable target? We've got some pretty good support on the left side over here. Yeah, it seems like we've already broken below this support, which is a good sign. Maybe. Actually looks like it's bouncing just off the low of this low support. So We're just gonna stay out and just monitor the trade. Better to wait for a better setup than try to force a trade. EURNZD. Not too bad. Is rejected at this 1.8 level. Seems that price is pretty well controlled between that 1.8 and these lower levels about 1.5. Not much market structure, unfortunately. Not at least what I'm looking at, so we are gonna stay out. And just continue to wait to see if any trends form. EURUSD, break of this descending trend. We're in somewhat of an uptrend. It's a pretty weak one, just as indicated by these sort of trend lines. We'll probably just monitor, wait to see if this trend continues, and then try to see if we can't find some sort of good market structure level to get into a pullback buy. But for now, we're just letting. EURUSD will probably be very much affected by the news this upcoming week, so probably be lots of volatility from the news. Let's get into GBPAUD. Looks like he's continuing lower. That reminds me, I think we got back into a GNZD trade. I'm gonna have to check that out in a sec. But anyways, for GBPAUD, not much here. I think we had the idea that we would get into a sell at 1.91. We obviously didn't, but you'll see that the correlated pair GBPNZD is one that we are trading. But we'll get into that in a second. So GBPCAD. Right along, not much value in the market structure here, at least not much sort of patterns that we can trade off of. So we're gonna move right along to GBPCHF. This is the guy we are trading. We're currently in at 1.135, expecting price to drop down to 1.105. This is the sort of structure that we're looking at. A bit of lower highs matched by equal lows, as well as this level of structure with some fairly strong resistance points. Obviously, the fact that price has made higher highs or higher lows is not super keen. Maybe we'll rechart this to show what's happening. Here we go. So we are in this little bullish channel going up. Maybe we might need to change our position. If price continues to break out above this trend line, it can pull back. We could get out at break even and instead enter a buy. But what we're gonna do is we're just gonna monitor. We still have our bias that it should be a sell, but again, we'll just continue to monitor, see how it pans out. GJ. See what I mean by there, better pairs to trade? I would say GJ is one of those better yen pairs to trade, significantly more bullish than the other pairs. As the price comes down, probably better opportunity getting into GJ than any of the other ones. We might set up an alert here at 174 for a potential entry. Where would we need to stick stops? That's the problem. We don't want it too wide, because then our 3-to-1 is also very wide. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, that kind of makes it more challenging. Got some pretty wide stops here, which are less than ideal, but we'll have to see. I'll probably just investigate all the JPY pairs together in a basket at the end, so maybe that'll be the plan. Okay, moving right along, GN. Right, so we have our sell stop here at just 2.039. Similarly, we have this very strong resistance level, one at 2.1, another at 2.05. Previously, price had hit this strong resistance 2.05, came down, came up, and then just absolutely got decimated to the downside over the oncoming weeks. And we're sort of anticipating something similar to that, which is why we have our sell stop below the lows here. If price continues higher and finds the higher low, then that's okay, we don't get triggered. Only when price breaks this low, indicating that this was a lower high and a lower low, would we consider getting into the trade. Is it a great strategy trade? I don't know. I wouldn't say it's a great strategy trade, but it's one we're in nonetheless. This one is more of a discretionary trade, I would say, as opposed to the system. Okay, GBPUSD. Quite similar to the EUROUSD, except for definitely not as steep of a previous decline in the descending channel, and his ascending channel is significantly more bullish. Just goes to show you that the British pound is quite a bit more bullish these days. Not seeing much opportunity here, however. Yeah, I'm not seeing a huge glaring area that I would say is ripe for entering a pullback to the upside, so we're just going to continue to monitor. NZDCAD, nice shoulder, head, shoulder, breaking out back into this trend, or sorry, this channel. It's broken this previous channel here, and is starting to pick up steam and go higher. And would you look at that, it did bounce right around this. Oh. No, never mind. I wish I could say that that was a good level that I had drawn, but maybe it wasn't. Looking at it, it's not that clear that it was a good support level. Possible entry. I think we're just gonna monitor here. Good morning. NZDCHF also coming up. No clear resistance levels to get in, however, so we are just going to monitor. NZDJ, probably not one of the better pairs to trade, and you probably better off trading one of the other USD pairs. UCAD coming down to the support level. price has been bouncing between these levels since November of last year. So I wouldn't necessarily feel super content hopping into a buy trade as a bounce off this support. I don't think there's enough confluence there. Similarly with the USDCHF, price is broken out. It's kind of difficult to tell whether was that just a breakout from news and price will continue higher, or are we in a new trend down? I think what we're just going to do is we're just going to continue to monitor this guy as well. USDJPY, similarly. Price is in a bit of a pennant formation. We do have lots of space for the downside or the upside. So if price were to break out, it could go down to there, it could go up to there before finding some decent resistance or support. So we are just monitoring. Alright, let's get into these guys. US 30, a little higher. US 100, quite bullish. US 500, also quite bullish. And gold, finding some good support and breaking above this trend line. Alright, I think that's it. So we are still in this GBPCHF trade. We are looking to get into this trade, this GBPNZD trade. Can't remember where I put the price target, but probably somewhere down here. Yeah, let's take a look, a gander at our yen pair baskets. Alright, so just a little quickie just so you guys can see. Okay, so these are my watch lists on the side here. Right, so this is my 26 Forex pairs. I've got US 30, 100, 500. Whoops, it's starting to lag a little bit. That's not ideal, but we'll work with it. So yeah, all the pairs on the side here. And then what we have is prior trades. So everything here is fresh analysis. That's the goal. Everything down here is a trade I've previously taken that I continue to monitor. Anything in blue is I'm no longer actively trying to monitor it to see where it goes. Anything in orange, I'm still actively monitoring to see, you know, did I have a good entry? Did I have a good stop loss or take profit placement? Anything in green down here means I'm actively trading it. This is a way to continue to monitor your trades well after you've traded, just to see what happens. And you know, it gives you that sort of perspective of, did I have a good exit strategy? Did I get out too early? Did I get out too late? Did I get in too early? Did I get out in too late? Did I have a good stop loss? You know, sometimes you just you either lose or win the trade and you get out and you don't think about it again, which is doing yourself a disservice. But what I also have is I have baskets. So here I have my JPY basket, and I can see how all the yen pairs are doing for the day. So I can see the change, which is the change in pips from the change in the market yesterday. Well, I guess it did this morning, however you want to call it, wherever you live. The change in the market from 12 hours ago, roughly. And then the change percent. So we can see that the yen pairs they're down today, so the yen is doing quite well. We can see the JPY basket is up It's up about 16 points, or about 16%. And we can see that most of these pairs, they're down about 17, 19, 2, 37, 47. AUDJPY is up, which would suggest to me that the Australian pairs are all up. They are. So that's a good sort of correlationary intraday trading idea. Like, all the yen pairs are down, but the odd Australian one is up, and the Australian dollar is probably doing quite well today, and sure enough it is. So if you scalp intraday, then maybe you could think, okay, well, I'm going to give myself the best bang for my buck. I'm going to go look at the Australian dollar since it's doing so well. Maybe I can find a pair here. And just looking at the Australian dollar, the strongest one is AUDCHF, which means if I go down, I guarantee you we look at the Swissy. The Swissy is quite weak today. Or look up, and sure enough it is. The Swiss yen is down, and all of the other Swissies are up, suggesting the Swiss pair is quite weak today, and by a significant margin too. A lot of these are between 0.3 and 0.6%, suggesting the Swiss pair. So that maybe that's your that's your weakest stock for today. So maybe that's the one you want to trade. So you get into like the 5 minute, he's up, he's up, he's up, he's up. Maybe you want to buy into a breakout, or wait for a pullback, whatever you want to do. Lots of opportunity there, but like I said, not really my style of trading. What I do though is I get onto the hourly and I look at the yen pairs. So I know I want to trade the yen pairs. USDJPY up. CADJPY is also up. Even more so. He's kind of going sideways, so he's not super keen on trading that one. GJ we could possibly look to get in. I think we already mentioned it, are at 1.725. Might be a good opportunity. This was obviously a loss, a losing trade. I don't even know if I got into this one. We mark up our trade idea. Across all the different pairs. This one I did end up losing on, unfortunately. Again, that kind of helps me know that my stop was just a little too close. And so next time what I can do, well, I say next time as if I'm gonna definitely learn from it. I can either put my entry a little lower with my stop a little lower. I can still target my 3-to-1, 4-to-1, 5-to-1. Yeah, either change the entry position or change how close the stop was, because I did have this lower trend line support, so I should have probably had my stop below that level. That would have been the more ideal situation, or even waited for price to come down to that level before getting into the trade. Okay. So maybe not much opportunity like I was looking for. It's nice to be able to visualize them all right next to each other. Obviously, we gotta visualize the yen basket itself. Gives us a good clear indication. See if we can mark it up. Looks like it's in a bit of a descending wedge. So we're just gonna kind of monitor for today. Doesn't look like we have a whole lot of opportunity in the market. I think we were maybe anticipating this guy coming down at some point, but definitely not today. This, looking for a reversion to the mean trade. And GBPNZD, expecting it to come further down. So those are sort of the three we're looking out for, but that's about it. That's it for today. Thank you for checking out the stream. I'll be back on again tomorrow to analyze the markets again, and I will catch you then. Good luck on your trades today. Wishing you the best of luck and hope you make some money.